So this is going to be the second video in a series I'm doing around Amazon Web Services. The first one I did was on S3. And today we're going to talk a little bit about Amazon EC2 or Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud. So it was first released in public beta in around 2006, and I think it was probably the second service that Amazon AWS came out with. I believe S3 was the first one. So very simply, what Amazon Elastic Compute is it allows really anyone with an internet connection to spin up compute resources in the cloud or instances. And those are just virtual machines. And they have many different flavors and types of operating systems. Windows and Linux are covered. So when you're working with EC2, you're going to be choosing and deploying what they call AMIs. And like I said, those are just virtual machines. Those are called, it stands for Amazon Machine Image. And yeah, they're just that. They're just like in your virtual environment, you have images, templates that you can deploy and use just as easily. Probably even more easily with EC2, you can spin up a virtual machine and have an internet accessible machine operating system of your choice in the cloud and ready to go. You can also create your own AMIs exactly as you want for your organization, and you can import them and you can export them out of EC2. So we're going to get started here. Haven't done this in a long time. So we're here in the Amazon console. If you haven't seen this before, these are all the services that you can leverage in AWS. We talked about S3 last time. There's database, RDS Dynamo, DynamoDB, networking. We'll get more into that later in another video. But just there's so much to know here. But for this video, we're just going to go into EC2 and take a look at this. So let's open that up. Okay, so we're here in the EC2 dashboard, and as you can see here, it gives you an idea if we don't have anything set up or running right now. But if we did, we could see the number of running instances. We could click on this and go take a look. Elastic IPs, those are internet accessible IPs that we would assign to an instance that would allow us to access it. Volumes, everything associated with EC2, it just gives us at a quick glance, we can gauge what we have going here. Now, obviously there's many regions. I think how many regions are there? I think there are 10 regions, 11 if you count the Gov region, which acts as its own region. We're in the Oregon region right now. So if I were to launch an instance right now, it would be in the Oregon region in one or more of the availability zones or data centers. If we want to select a different one, oh, there's Canada now, Canada instance now, region. That's kind of cool. Actually, let's do that. We're going to work in Canada. So Central Canada, that's kind of interesting. Central Canada, Montreal, excellent. Okay, so this is where we're going to actually spin up our very first instance. So let's go into instances and see what the different AMIs that are available to us. Where are they? I think if we went here and go to launch instance, here we go. So there's different views here and filters we can throw on here to quickly narrow down what we're looking for. But real quickly, this is what we're looking at. So you can see here this Amazon Linux AMI. What do we get for this? What does it say? It's an EBS backed AWS supported image. If we clicked on it and selected, we could get into more details about how much memory it has, CPUs, that kind of thing. So this one is free tier eligible. So we could deploy this if we wanted to, and then we could, if we just kept it at the very simple base image and didn't add too many things onto it, it would be totally free. But let's scroll through here. I'd just like to find a free tier Windows system. So let's look at this. Here's a Microsoft Windows 2016 base. What else do we have here? 2016 base Nano, 2012 base, 64-bit. I hope everything's 64-bit. who knows? I'm not even sure if you can get a 32-bit. That'd be interesting. Oh wow, you can actually select for this Microsoft Windows Server 2008 SP2 base. You can select 32-bit architecture if you wanted. Okay, that's interesting. All right, so let's do this. 2000. Let's do this 2012 base. It's free. Let's just select it and see what we got here. So when we go into this tier, you can see um, there's different configurations available to us, different memory, different numbers of CPUs. Note if you chose anything that obviously doesn't say it's free tier eligible, there will be costs associated with that. So let's see here. Oh yeah, interesting. If you hover over it, different areas, it'll tell you a little bit about it. So this is a general purpose instance, provides a balance of compute, memory, and network, blah, 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 blah. If we go to T2 Micro, T2 instances provide a baseline level of CPU performance with the ability to burst above the baseline. Okay, all interesting stuff. Let's see here. Number of virtual CPUs. Okay, that's cool. Storage, so we have EBS storage available to us. Network performance gives us an idea of what we can expect there. Okay, so that's kind of interesting. So if we wanted to, I think we could just go review and launch, and it would probably just take a lot, fill in a lot of defaults and take this instance up. But we're going to actually go through a little bit of some of the advanced settings. Won't go too deep, but just to show you what's available here. So here we are, the first configure instance options. You can actually select here the number of instances. So if we want to spin up 10 instances at this free tier, we could just do that and we would have 10 instances. That's pretty amazing. What else is there? There's also purchasing options. So maybe if we had requested something where there's some dollars would be required to purchase, we could request spot instances. And if we did that, let's just see if we click here. Okay, it's not available because it's free. But if there were some costs, you could bid on it. So spot instances work like I'm not entirely sure how it all works, but they're basically free available compute resources that aren't being used. That there'll be so many at any given time that Amazon makes available at a reduced price, and you bid on them. So if you're the highest bidder, you win the instance, and you get it, and you get to use it until someone else comes along and bids on it, or bids a higher price. So yeah, there's some specific use cases where you might want to do that. We'll talk more about that later. So here, we don't really have anything set up here yet as far as our network or subnet, so we're going to keep the default there. We don't have a domain. So we're just going to go next, and let's talk about storage. So we can see here, we got some snapshots. We got 30 gigs. It's just going to be a general purpose SSD. What other options do we have? Provisioned IOPS, magnetic. Okay, that's kind of interesting. Okay. If we wanted, we could add a new volume, but just be aware, if we did add a new volume, there's probably going to be some costs associated with that. All right, so let's go next. We're going to add some tags. So this is where we can add some tags. We'll talk about more of that some other time, but let's just add a real simple tag right now. The value, what do we want to do here? Probably just give it a name. So let's do that. Key. So let's just give this a name. So this is going to be the tag. This will be the name of our system. And let's just call it FS01. So that's going to be the name of our server. And we are going to go next to security groups. We don't really have any security groups yet. So let me see here. Oh, yeah, okay. So we're going to create a new security group. So we're just going to go forward with the defaults. And this is going to dictate a little bit about how we allow the connectivity into the system. So it's a Windows system. We want to use RDP. It's going to use TCP and that port. And if we want to, we can restrict it. We're going to make it wide open. So anybody with the credentials and the keys could actually access our system. So we're just going to leave it the defaults, make it fully accessible out there. And what are we going to do here? review and launch. So here's the review section. We can review everything we've selected, and we're just going to select launch now. Oh, yeah, so this is where we're going to create our key pair. Talk more about key pairs later, so for purposes here, our purposes here, we will create a new key pair, and we can give it a name, and we will call it AWS test, and we're going to download it because we'll need to access that later. So let's see here. Okay, so it downloaded it. I've got it. That's great. Um, I'm just going to copy this someplace else. Okay, so I filed that away someplace. Right, where were we? All right, let's launch this. All right, so it says it's now launching. Um, we can view the launch log. Let's actually just go back to EC2, and if we go back to our dashboard, we should see a change here, and we see a volume. We've got a key pair and running instances. We don't have any running instances. Where are they? It's probably provisioning right now. So here we go. Yeah, it's still initializing. So we got an instance ID. It's got our name. We got the instance type, and we've got a, yeah, okay, good. This is working out. Okay, so it looks like our system's all up and running now. So let's take a look here. Yeah, status checks. Let's just click on status checks. What does that do for us? I'm not sure. Let's just right click. So we have some options here when we right click on our instance. We can rename it here. We can connect. We'll need to get the Windows password. We'll do that in a second. I guess we could launch more like this, where we could clone them, which is kind of interesting. We can look at the state. We can stop it, start it, reboot it, terminate it, and remove it completely. What else can we do? Images. We can use this to create a template, I guess, which is kind of interesting. And what else? And then we can add it to monitoring. So first off, let's do this. Let's get the Windows password. I think we need that. So first of all, we're going to have to give it our key pair. So we defined the key pair that we're going to use, and now we have to provide it with our key, so we can access it. So I saved it here. Let's do this. We click on it. We browse to the key. We select it. It's a .pem file. We're going to open it, and then we got some stuff here. And now we're going to decrypt it. It says that the decryption was successful. And what is it? What else is it telling us here? Password change recommended. Okay, probably a good idea. I'm going to be deleting this anyway after we're done here. But here we can see the user ID, the public DNS, and the password. So let's grab this. I did have, let's use this. So we're going to copy this. I think this will work. And then we'll put it into RDP, and we go connect, and yeah, okay, cool. So we're going to use another account. We'll go administrator, and we'll enter our password here. And yeah, we're getting connected. We go yes. And voila, we have our Windows system in the cloud. Looks like it's just starting up here. And it's logging us in. Let's just see our start bar here. And yeah, here we go. Here's a Windows 2012 system. So pretty neat stuff. All right. Okay. So yeah, that's it. We showed you how to deploy an EC2 instance, configure it, showed you some of the advanced settings, went through some of the advanced configuration. Much more to it, and more to come in more videos. Thanks for watching.